Hey, what's up, naughty community? Welcome back to my naughty hobby with Amber for another easy to follow crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this, like, I guess you could call it honeycomb or trellis stitch using just some of our, basic single and double crochets. Hope everybody's doing fantastic today. If you'd like to follow along with me and get the exact measurements, I'll be using a 3.5 millimeter hook and some very light sport weight yarn. Let's go ahead and get started though. Move this out of the way. In order for this pattern to work up correctly, we're going to be working in multiples of 5 plus 1 for our foundation stitch. And this will be a 4-row sequence. So I will be writing down the written instruction as we go along for you. Let's go ahead and do a total of 21 chains. There's 18, 20 are multiple of 5 plus 1 extra stitch. I've got a little knot in my yarn. There we go. Alright, so that's our foundation, the 21 stitches. Now we're going to create our turn chain. There we go. We need to do 3 additional chains for the turn. 2 and 3. And that will count as our first stitch. So now in our 5th chain from our hook, so there's 3, 4, 5, 5th chain from our hook, we're going to place a double crochet. So we've got 2 double crochets with our chain 3 turn. Now we're going to chain 2, skip the next 2 chains, this one and this one, and we're going to double crochet into the next. Make sure I got under all of my loops there. Double crocheting into our next stitch, double crochet into the next, chain. We're creating our foundation stitches right now. Gonna chain 2, skip the next 2, 1, 2, and into the next. We're gonna do a double crochet. I suggest taking your time with your foundation. It gets so much easier. Then we're going to do a double crochet into the next 2 chains. Chain 2, skip the next 2 and then double crochet into the next 3. should be at our end now, so you're going to chain 2, skip 2, and we're going to double crochet into our last 2 chains because we want our end to match our beginning. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work. In our first stitch, we're going to single crochet, and into these chain 2 spots, we're going to do 5 double crochets. Now in those groups of 3 double crochets from our previous row, in that middle stitch we're going to do a single crochet. And again, the 5 double crochets into our chain 2 spaces. We're going to follow that pattern across. So find that middle double crochet from our previous row and do a single. 5 double crochet into the chain 2 space. And then to end this, to match our beginning, take a quick peek. We started with a single crochet. So in the top of our chain 3, which counts as our first stitch of that last row, we'll place a single crochet. Now we want these holes to be staggered, as you can see, going like in this diagonal line. So for the 3rd row of this sequence, we're going to chain up 5, turn our work, yarn over. We're going to be working with double crochets. You're going to skip the first 2 stitches there, and in these middle stitches of our shell, in the next 3, we're going to double crochet. Chain 2. Going to skip over this space, and again we're going to work a double crochet into the top of those shells from our previous row. Chain 2, again, working 3 double crochets. Chain 2, skip those next stitches, 3 more in the top of your shell from your previous row. This first stitch actually counts as a treble crochet with a chain 1. So at the end of the row, to get them to match, we'll do a chain 1. We're going to treble stitch, which is yarning over twice before we insert our hook into that last stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. So we have done 3 of the 4 rows for this sequence. Now for the 4th and final, we're going to chain up 3, which counts as our first stitch. Turn your work into that chain 1 space. We're going to put 2 double crochets. This is a half of a shell. That's how we're able to achieve the diagonal look with our chain spaces. Single crochet into that middle stitch of the double crochets we previously made. And then we'll start with those 5 double crochet into our chain 2 spaces. Keeping those single crochets centered in the 3rd of those double crochets, and then the 5 double crochet shells. This is the stitch sequence I'm using for my new infinity scarf. And I absolutely love how this is working up so far. Now to match our beginning, we're going to do 2 double crochet into that chain spot at the end. And because that counts as a treble, I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and I place my last double crochet into the 4th chain up. So this is how one completed segment or sequence for this like trellis look, how that's worked up. Now if you wanted to start back over, you're going to look down here to the first, our foundation row that we created. And it's 2 double crochets at the end. So you'll chain up 3. Yarn over. That chain 3 counts as our first stitch, so you won't work here, but you're going to work a double crochet into that next stitch. chain 2, and then working 3 double crochets into those center stitches of your shell. The written instruction for this sequence will be posted down below, so you can find that if you do better with a written pattern. If not, feel free to pause this or rewind, whatever you guys need. I hope that you give this trellis pattern a try and let me know what you think. Hope everybody has a great day and happy hooking, guys. Take care. One more up close look for you guys. And then what I would consider the reverse side.